प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्।
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य माम् एकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः। सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य माम् ekam. Now, if Krishna is not there, then is it become invalid now? Because Krishna is not there, he is saying he should follow Arjuna, should follow Krishna. It is not like that. Ekam is the true for any guru who has identified himself with the real soul. That real soul is one. That is, you follow the soul. Now, you will not know whether you are following the soul, so Guru is there to guide you, to tell you what is to be done, what is not to be done. In that case, the dharma, adharma, buddhi will not be there. In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is preaching Krishna that adharma will take place. Whatever we are going to do, fight the war, that will lead us to great sin. Ahovat mahat papam kattum vyavasitavayam, and many things. So, it is because he has not yet surrendered to the Guru there in the first chapter. And he is quoting dharma, adharma, whatever he knew. But Krishna says no. Now in this form, after the Bhagavad Gita has been told, you have to do whatever I tell you to do. That portion is very nice. I would like to cover it tomorrow. Because he says that I have told you the highest secret. Everything has been told. And now, yatechasi tatha kuru. Vimishyaitad asheshena yatechasi tatha kuru. Whatever I have told, everything about knowledge, jnanam akyatam. Now, thinking about all that, whatever you want to do, you do. That means you fight or you don't fight. The decision is left on him. Then he says, no, but I cannot leave you at there because, oh Arjuna, I am fond of you. You are my own, you are my own person. So I cannot stop without telling the highest secret, the sarvaguhyatamam bhuyaha shrinume paramam vacha. This is the supreme word. See, after so much of discussion, so much of philosophy, so many things he has said, now he is saying sarvaguhyatamam, the greatest secret in the world, and that is the supreme word. What is that? I have to tell you. Then he says manmana bhava mad bhakta. See, the surrender is the ultimate word in sadhana. So Bhagavad Gita is proceeding towards that. Where we are, it is just proceeding towards that. And it will end up with that, the ultimate concept. And this surrender also is fine. You surrender. As long as we are doing the sadhana, we have to surrender our ego, surrender our dharma sense, surrender our shubha, ashubha concept, surrender all the concepts we have. So that the ego is completely eliminated or sublimated, and the raga dvesha, particularly the likes and dislikes, that clinging to what I like and hating what I dislike, they are completely washed off. So what happens after that is that you come to know when the ego goes and the raga dvesha also go, you come to know that the whole universe as it is functioning as an effect of the three gunas, like that by my body, mind, personality also is part of the nature and functioning with those gunas. That means I am already surrendered. I don't have to surrender. This is the last knowledge we get through surrender. We don't have to surrender. We are already surrendered. We cannot do anything. It is all the nature playing. Even when I am applying my own effort, self-effort, it is the nature which has given me the self-effort and that I am applying. But as long as I feel that I can do this or that, you have to have your self-effort also. You have to make your decision also. As long as you have the ego, you have to take your decision. Like I said, Shreyas and Preyas are coming together. You have to select. If you are a seeker, You have to find out, analyze, and select the Shreyas if you are a real seeker. That is left to you as long as you have ego. When the ego has gone, you find that the guna guneshu vartanta. All the gunas are functioning in the whole world, they are functioning through my body mind. Personality also. I am already surrendered, there is nothing more to surrender at all. So that I am surrendered to have the knowledge, we are using the surrender as a pursuit, as a sadhana. This is how the whole sadhana of Bhagavad Gita is proceeding. Now we are at a point, after establishing that all our work will have to be made into sadhana, so that we don't need any special time for sadhana generally, because all the thoughts, every moment of life becomes a sadhana. What kind of a sadhana? To involve the yoga buddhi, and by that remove the sangha and phalakamana. Sangha tyaga and phalatyaga, these are the constant words of Bhagavad Gita, repeatedly going on. Even 18th chapter also, last year we had done 9th verse of 18th chapter. He says, Sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva satyaga satviko mataha. This is the satvika tyaga. There he has defined the tyaga. Then 11th verse he says, Ahi deha vrita shakyam tyaktum karmanya asheshataha yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi ityavidhiyate. That repeatedly Sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva. Repeatedly he is saying. So these are the two things one has to do to make all our activity a sadhana which will lead us to the ultimate goal. And he has repeatedly said, what is that ultimate goal? Brahma Prapti. That whatever the Kevala Jnana Nishtha or Upanishadic sadhana is taking us to, whichever goal he is taking us to, this also Yoga Buddhi or the Buddhi Yoga Bhagavad Gita prescribes will also take us to the same goal. Now he is saying how it will happen. For that he has presented in this chapter something called Swabhava, Swabhava Karma, Swakarma, Swadharma, all are same basically. That is what is natural to us. How it is coming, the whole nature is functioning with their natural properties. As I said, the red rose is red, the white grass flower is white. They are blossoming with their natural properties. Like that, each human being has got his natural qualities, and he will blossom with those qualities. That is the ultimate and the maximum blossoming one can have in his life. Suppose somebody has more sharper buddhi, another person has lesser buddhi. It is fine. The qualities are not same in all. But with whatever qualities he has in his being, that will have its maximum unfoldment or fruition in life, provided he allows the natural fruition. So he says that Swabhava he has introduced. That is, in the 8th chapter he has defined, 8th and 9th, that Swabhava is called, Adhyatma is Swabhava. What is the Swabhava? Swabhava. One I said, Swa is the uniform, singular, transcendental soul. That is not different for different people. That Swa is not different for A and B and C. That Swa, everybody in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, they will experience that Swa. There is no difference at all. But that soul, that consciousness, that Atma, when it manifests through the body-mind personality, it will take up the qualities of the body-mind personality. That is his Swabhava. Now, what are we doing? Because of the desire, the other day also I said, because of the desire, whatever is our natural quality, leaving that we are doing something else. That is why everywhere there is anachara, that suppose a businessman, he takes off education, then education will become a business. Is it not happening everywhere? Education should be left to the educationists. But if the education is taken over by businessmen, then it will become different. So, everywhere, as I said, that the same electricity is coming out through the light, through the sound, as light, as motion in the fan, and various ways. Now, the light doesn't say that I will become sound. The sound doesn't say that I will become light. But the electricity is the same. As it is manifesting through the different items, it is taking up that property. It is manifesting as that. So like that, we have each product of nature has got some natural properties. And we should allow you to blossom with those qualities. That is why they have done the 4 categories. Don't confuse the jati with the varna. Varna means color. That means 4 quality category, broad categories they have. Each person is different in qualities, but these are 4 broad categories based on the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. I have explained that Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, different permutation combination gives us the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And what are their activities, corresponding activities, they have also given. Now, as long as it is in the Varna, it is not by that Brahmana son will become Brahmana, it is not like that. It is, Brahmana may have 5 sons, of them one will be a Shudra, one will be a Kshatriya. It can happen, anything can happen. That is not ruled out. The work will be according to the Varna the person has. Whatever the qualities he has, according to that he will do. But I said that how it gets degenerated, not degenerated, even normally also, because the persons belonging to the Varna, particular Varna, they will marry. Educationist will marry generally from an educationist. Raja will generally marry from a Raja family. So what happens by that is the qualities get enhanced. A musician will marry a musician. So the children will be already, they will have a knack towards music. And if it goes further for about 3-4 generations, then this Varna becomes a jati almost. There will be exceptions, there will be always exceptions. Like Sagara had a son, Asamanjas, who was absolutely different. Sagara was a Rajarshi, but the son was entirely different, so he had to banish. When the prajas came, the people came and reported that your son is putting the babies into the water, and when they are gasping and suffocating, he is clapping and laughing. What kind of behavior is this? That is why his name was given Asamanjas. Now when he came to know that, he immediately banished that son, because in the Raja family, if he becomes the Raja, then everything will go wrong. So it can happen, sometimes it happens. And sometimes in, just like Valmiki also, he was not belonging to the Brahmana family. Similarly, Vyasadeva was not belonging to, but they are the greatest writers of our country. Like that, there are many. So variations will be there, but it is by and large, this is the nature. And because of the getting married to the similar qualities, it starts becoming a jati. But whatever it may become, the problem comes to the society when we start looking down upon somebody. Unless we give all the activities equal respect and honor, the problem comes. In our Shastras, because everybody is the soul, and the soul is everybody's inmost level, they are all same. That generated the maximum respect for everybody. And whether he is a weaver or a craftsman or a mason, that means sculptor, or a pandit or a fighter, everybody had a respectable position. But with time, what happened, that some people started looking down upon them, exploiting them. It is a normal corruption of the society, which made the caste system very bad. But actually it is because of the Varna Vibhaga that our country prospered, had so much of excellence in every field, whether it is war game or weaving. That I gave all the examples the other day, sculpture and all everywhere. And not to speak of the literature, where they have excelled in everything. Even now also people cannot understand how did they do it. Not only literature, even in sculpture also it is so. I gave all the examples the other day. So, now where are we standing? They have defined the 4 kinds of work for the 4 categories of people. Now they have to now present that in whatever the category they belong to, they must be deserving to attain the ultimate. Then only Bhagavad Gita's presentation will be meaningful. He said that whatever karma, you can be taken to the ultimate level of emancipation, freedom, or Brahma. That is becoming the Brahman, attaining the Brahman. There comes this shloka where yesterday we did. That is the 45th shloka. 45th shloka of 18th chapter. Are you getting the full picture of it? Now they will say that sve sve karmanyabhiratah samsiddhim lavate naraha swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachnu. He says if people remain with the natural activity, whatever is natural varna, according to the varna, that means whatever the qualities he has, if he does that activity, follows that activity, remaining engaged in that activity, they attain the ultimate perfection, samsiddhim, labhate naraha. Sve sve karmani abhirataha, remaining engaged in their own karma, whatever is their natural karma activity, samsiddhim labhate naraha, they attain perfection. Swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachnu. I will tell you, Krishna says, that how remaining engaged in our own natural activity, svabhava karma, swakarma, one attains the ultimate perfection. Do you get it? So now he is going to present that how a person following any, that either he is a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra, how remaining engaged in his own activity, which is by his natural varna, natural qualities of his personality, how he will attain the ultimate siddhi. Now, why should a person take to an unnatural activity? It is only because of some desire. Is it not so? Normally, you will do whatever naturally you are oriented towards. You will not do unnatural. That unnatural activities are coming because some is more paid, some is less paid. And for money you are shifting from your activity to another activity. Or some is more respected, another is not respected. Manual labor is not respected. It should be equally respected. But it is not respected in the society, so nobody will like to take up manual labor. In Kerala, we don't have anybody to work now, almost. Everybody wants white-collar job. That will naturally be because white-collar job is giving more money and more respect, more honor in the society. So these are all the troubles the society breeds because of this imbalance. That is different. Then 46th also we did. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam
Yatah pravrittir bhutanam
Yena sarvamidam tatam
Yena sarvamidam tatam
Swakarmanatam abhyartya
Swakarmanatam abhyarchya
Siddhim vindati manavaha.
Siddhim vindati manavaha.
See, this is the secret he is disclosing now. He said, Swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachnu. How people attain the perfection by remaining engaged in swakarma, svabhava karma. He says, Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tam abhyartya siddhim vindati manavaha. From where the whole universe has come and is held by, where everywhere that truth is there in the whole universe. The objects may be fragmented, but they are all appearing in the single Atma or consciousness or Brahman. Now, if you do archana for that, if you worship that truth by your own karma, that means you offer your karma to that universal Lord. The whole universe is the jajna of that Lord you can think of. Jajna means it is all done desirelessly. In Bhagavad Gita, jajna means whatever you are doing, if you do without desire, it becomes jajna. Just the opposite of Vedic jajna. Vedic jajna is you are doing full of desires. Here, whatever you do without desire, it becomes an offering. So, this archana is not with the flower or mithai or anything. It is an archana with our work. And how will the archana be completed? When you do without any selfish motive, without any desire, without any ego. Then that becomes, whatever you are doing, it will become an offering to the universal Lord. So if you do like that, then you will attain perfection. Because what is our purpose? Our purpose is to get rid of the raga, dvesha and the ego. So if you are offering, means sometimes you have to do which you do not like to do. Sometimes you are not supposed to, you will not be allowed to do what you want to do. Depending on the necessity you have to do. And in doing also, you carry that I have done this, I have done that. If you do something sinful, you carry sinfulness. If you have done something great, you carry an elation. All these things will not be there. You have done whatever was to be done, you have done. If it is sinful, sinful doesn't matter. I don't have a feeling of sinfulness. If it is something great, nature has got it done. I have no elation for that at all. So that means the purpose is to remove the ego and the raga dvesha. That is done if we do the archana with our work. Do you get? This is the worship with the swakarma. That you are not changing your karma because of some attraction, repulsion, or because of some desire, or because of some sangha to something. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha
Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha
paradharmat swanushtitat
paradharmat swanushtitat
svabhavaniyatam karma
swabhavaniyatam karma
kurvannapnoti kilbisham.
kurvannapnoti kilbisham.
He says that Shreyan swadharmaha vigunaha swadharmaha paradharmat swanushtitat. What is not your swadharma, that is paradharma, even if it is done well, consider swadharma to be better than that, although it has got some negative qualities. This we explained in the background of Bhagavad Gita. It is very important because Arjuna was asked to fight the war where he has to kill his own grandfather and teacher and whatnot. So it is one of the most sinful karma, as per Arjuna's statement, ahovat mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yat rajya sukha lobhena antum svajana mudyataha. My own beloved people we are going to kill because of the greed for enjoying the kingdom. The whole Bhagavad Gita is only changing Arjuna's mindset that you are not fighting because of the greed for the kingdom, but to establish the righteous rule on earth, which is the duty of a Kshatriya. So your karma has got that bigunaha, that it will not very Kshatriya dharma, we say daruna Kshatriya dharma. That means it is never very, nobody can enjoy the Kshatriya dharma. You have to cut off the head of the wrongdoers. You have to fight. You have to fight in the war field. Like Rama, you have to sometimes abandon your wife. All those things are Raj dharma is very, very difficult. For a good king, the Raja dharma is one of the most difficult dharma. So there is lot of viguna in it. Viguna means negative qualities in it. But consider that to be better than following paradharma. What is the paradharma for Arjuna? He wanted to go to the forest, beg and become a sannyasin and practice kevala jnana nishta. That was not his dharma. He would have sat in the forest trying to meditate, and constantly Duryodhana will come and that will happen and this will happen, and finally come back to Krishna and say that my mind is running away. So that is the paradharma. So it is true everywhere also, but in the context of the Bhagavad Gita it is very important. Sahajam karma kaunteya
Sahajam karma kaunteya
Sadoshamapi na tyajet
Sadoshamapi na tyajet
Sarvarambha hi doshena
Sarvarambha hi doshena
Dhumena agnirivavritaha.
Dhumena agnirivavritaha.
This I have told you yesterday also, that sahajam karma. Sahaja means which is born with you. That means as you are born with certain qualities, what your activities will be there, that also is born with you, which is sahaja, with you, that according to the qualities. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyajati. Even if it has some negative traits in it, you should not reject it, because everything is necessary for the society. Can you think of the work of a spy? Going to foreign country, taking to so many stealthy measures, and how much punishing, penalizing that act is. But unless there are spies, will we be able to protect our country? So, sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyajat. Even if there is dosha, you should not abandon it, because every work is necessary. Sarvarambhai doshena dhumena agni rivarbritaha. Whatever you do, there will be some other negative element in that. Don't worry about it. All the undertaking you have, something bad and something good will be there. To establish a factory, you have to take away the land from the poor people. Is it not? Earlier days, to establish the factory, you have to throw the effluent in the river. Everything is wrong. So, dhumena agnihi iva avritaha. As the smoke covers the fire, fire is brilliant, but is not smoke covering the fire, the brilliance of the fire. Like that, whatever you do, some dosha will be there which will cover up the brilliance of that. Asakta buddhis sarvatra
asakta buddhis sarvatra
jitatma vigatasprihaha
jitatma vigatasprihaha
naishkarmya siddhim paramam
naishkarmya siddhim paramam
sanyasena adhigacchati.
sanyasena adhigacchati.
See, he has come back, Bhagavad Gita has come back to its pet notions. What is that? Asakta buddhi is sarvatra. And jitatma means complete control over oneself. Vigata sprihaha, desireless. All the desires have gone, and asakta buddhi sarvatra. No ego, no attachment, as you say. Actually, this concepts we have to understand. Sakti, or attachment we say, it is an identity grown by constantly thinking about something. That is, it is my son, it is my children, this is my office, this is my instrument, or this is my school, whatever. That constantly thinking about the I and my and mine, we develop an identity with the object. In which chapter it is there? That asaktir anavishwangaha putradara grihadishu. 13th chapter. Asaktir anavishwangaha putradara grihadishu. This asakti and anavishwanga, there is a little difference. Don't confuse between asakta and asaktis. Asakta means who does not have sakti. But asakta means who has attachment. Asakta means attached, and asakta means disattached, non-attached. Asakti means non-attachment. Sakti means attachment. So these words you should be clear about, otherwise the meaning will become reverse. So, asaktir anavishwanga. Asakti means not having the sakti. Anavishwanga means not having the avishwanga. This sakti is the constantly thinking. We develop an clinging to it. And avishwanga is we identify ourselves with that. Suppose we have identified so much with my camera that if the camera is broken, I feel I have been broken. It happens. The building, I become the building. One person was there was a small work done on the garden, and one visitor came and he just kicked over today Bunty kicked a flower pot. Suppose like that, kicked the flower pot and fell. Now Seema will be immediately looking into the flower pot, my plant is gone, my flower pot is broken. Whether Bunty's leg is broken, she will not worry about. That is called avishwanga. The constantly looking after the plants and the flower pots, she will grow so much of avishwanga to that the If that is broken, what has happened? One pot broken, nothing has happened. You should first notice whether Bunty's leg has broken or not, or whether he has got injured or not.